On y'all. And I am trying something different because I normally be on Instagram. I normally be on other platforms going live like YouTube or something like that. I mean, I'm new on YouTube, excuse me. I'm new on YouTube, but I have been getting so many questions. People have been inquiring and asking, like, why did you LLC your name, right? Why did you LLC your name? And also, I've been getting more and more and more inquiries. People are shutting down their businesses, thinking that their assets is not going to be sued. People are thinking if they just dissolve the business, that this is not going to follow them. So, me been talking about this for years and years and years, okay, to own nothing and control everything. No, I was not the creator of that statement, but it is imperative that we understand why we should not have things in our name. So let's get into it. All right. So I know you guys are just coming on. So thank y'all for just immediately just tapping in. My name is Layla Lockwood. I'm a representative of Layla Lockwood LLC. That is important to know. It is, I mean, even though it could come off cliche, people always say you got things in your name. Your name is on everything. And that is not true. When you understand your position, when you understand your role, you understand your structure, that's how I'm able to navigate through corporations, not even just the one that's under Layla Lockwood LLC. There are different corporations that me and my husband has structured, but it's also understanding that how can I get out of the way of something that I created. So, hey, y'all, I see y'all coming in. Hi, I see the hearts. If you're watching for the first time, stay rooted. If you're watching the playback, stay rooted. I'm just on a new platform, but again, I'm going to give the same type of information, maybe reach some more people, and then leave this live up as well to save it on the YouTube channel. Now, kudos to y'all because I am very, very close to monetizing on this platform. So this is why I'm going to start moving and more engaging on this platform, because I know the type of value that I leave on any lives. I just definitely go from the dome. But let's start off from structure. I'm going to get into it, you guys. I'm going to drop some jewels. So anybody that's in my comment section, I like to call y'all my comment control, because I know I say some stuff and it may go fast, it may go over someone's head. But for those that catch it, they comment in the chat. So let me know if y'all already ready to get started. I know I'm just kind of giving y'all the opportunity to get on. So if you just want to fast forward to the good part, let's just fast forward to the good part. So why did I LLC my name? Actually, Layla Lockwood LLC is a consultant business. So I know that people are like, well, what type of business do you need to have? I don't want to start a business. I don't have a business. I don't have the money and all these kind of things. So just whatever state that you're tuning in from, one, you can type it in the chat. Two, it's because everything we do, we consult first. Hey now, I see you. We consult with everything. Rather, if we're buying something, like if we are buyers, we have to remember that we're still business to that business that we patronize. That was something that stood out to me. Also, when we're inquiring about something, that is a consulting, like you're consulting with the actual person that's going to offer you services, sell you goods, or whatever, services, right? So when I started to process that, it took me a minute to unpack it, because I'm like, well, when we're going into these establishments, we don't know who is who. We don't know who's the owner. We don't know who's the floor team lead. We don't know these things. We just know that we're talking to a person. So let me know y'all know where I'm getting ready to go with this, because some of y'all are my seeds. Some of y'all have been, staying rooted with me for some years. So y'all kind of know where I'm going to go with this conversation, but I'm not going to be before you long. So I gotta hit the points and go. All right. Y'all can watch the replay. Now, when I walk into these establishments and I'm consulting with someone, rather if I'm going to do services or goods, that is commerce. That is the exchange of me giving my information, rather me giving you monetary value. It is business. So when I started to really have to say it in my mind, I had to continue to learn it, to understand it, that I am a business. I had to keep saying that. Some of y'all need to put that in the chat. I am a business. So as I continue to keep saying, I'm a business, and everybody that look at me is a business. Like they look at me as business, right? So I said, okay, when I get up, I go to the gas station. Maybe I'm talking to the attendant, right? The clerk, the cashier's clerk. That person is clocked in to represent the corporation. The receipt Rather if I gave it from my personal account, rather if I gave it from my business account, the receipt states that I did business with the business. Y'all drop 100 in the chat real quick. Just let me know if y'all picking up what I'm dropping so far. So y'all can understand why my mind 5 to 6 years ago, I'm actually going on 6 years, of why Layla Lockwood LLC was produced. Yes, I am a business and I'm an asset. I know that's right. And I'm a write-off. You need to add that too. Okay. And I'm a write-off. Okay. So that's where it was leading to of like, okay, if I know that when I go into these places, maybe I go into a hospital. Didn't know that the doctors didn't own anything. Didn't know that these doctors was independently contract to be at this facility, that facility. And I realized the hospitals were nonprofit organizations. And I said, wait a minute, we missing it. We, the people, are the corporations. We are the individuals, which is, I'm talking now from a natural perspective. The natural people are always in the position to be business. No matter if you're an employee, if you are an employee, you are business to the business to help the business run. Rather, if you're a customer, you are a business to help, make that business become lucrative. What does it gain when you just the individual that's on the buying side? Like, what are you, right? You always giving, right? So when instead of me just continue to give, why not I give my business information so I can make this a write-off transaction? That's what we was going to. Thank you. That's what we're going to. So to see that everything we do is business, to know that we as humans, we as individuals may expire. I'm saying may because we're going to say years and years and years down the line. We're going to expire, but every time we exchange in business, these corporations are still standing. So before I get deep into it, let me just put my legal disclaimer here. I am not an attorney. I don't present myself to be an attorney. This is not going to constitute as legal advice. This is not going to constitute as financial advice. It's written down here in the description, but I just want to make sure y'all don't miss that. So for me, I started to understand we don't know who's the person because the lawful or legal definition of person, it could be a human or non-human entity. So that's when I started the journey of, well, let me just go ahead and incorporate my name now. Let me go. If I know everything I do, I'm going to engage with some type of corporation. Let me go ahead and just set the foundation. And a lot of people are just kind of hesitant. They don't want to structure their name. They don't want to get an EIN for their name. They don't want to create a separate entity because they keep showing up as themselves. Now let's talk about the business, because we know that when we have a business structure, it's supposed to separate from ourselves personally. That's the reason that a business is created. It's supposed to be a separate entity. But when I start seeing all these lawsuits, I'm like, well, why the business gets sued and the person that created the business and the person that is operating the business, they all getting sued all together as one if the business was supposed to separate the personal liabilities, personal assets, personal activity. So now we have to understand our title. So now I, a trustee myself, was like, I need to make sure, because I didn't know this stuff. When I started engaging in business, I was like everybody else, entrepreneur. Okay. I say it like that because I say it for a reason. Entrepreneur, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I don't want to work for nobody. I want to be an entrepreneur. But can we also state that entrepreneurship does not have to be operated through your social security number? Entrepreneurship can also be through a corporation, or it can be through a legal structure like a DBA. When you start identifying who you show up as, then you can start protecting yourself more. So what I was able to do and say, let me go ahead, create this private trust. Let me make sure that this trust is going to be asset protected. Okay. So it's not, every trust does not have asset protection. So for me, I was like, okay, let me make sure the asset protection is in place. There are clauses in place to keep the continuity if anything happens to me, anything happens to my children, anything happens to my husband, God forbid. But when we looked into the type of trust that ultimately protect your assets, protect your businesses, protect from creditors, protect the lawsuits, protect from liens, it kept coming up irrevocable. Irrevocable trust was the trust that was able to allow us to protect the assets and separate us personally. So then I said, well, baby, right? I looked over to my loved one and said, well, baby, you be the primary trustee. You be the primary trustee, because even if I would be the trust protector, I will be able to allocate different changes. I'll be able to allocate things that can be changed, updated. So you be the primary trustee. Now, when I hear individuals discuss trust, I always hear say, get a revocable trust so you can make multiple changes, so you can be able to have control, yada, yada, whoop, whoop. But we know that if we had even had a business and we had control, we're both getting sued with the business. So I knew revocable trust wasn't the ideal trust for me and my family. So let me just say this. I'm not persuading you. I'm just letting you know how we thinking over here, the Lockwoods, how we're thinking. So I go and I started to look into this information more of this is not just the document. This is not about the clauses. This is not just about how we sign. This is about understanding how it all works together. Drop a heart in the chat. Drop a heart in the chat if you picking up what I'm dropping. Because I had to understand on this journey, it's not about the exact person who created the business, meaning the CEO, the owner, the founder. It's about what it says on paper. It's about how it's structured on paper. So yes, you could be the mastermind behind this. You could be the creator, director behind. This is your vision, but you don't have to be the owner. Yes, I hear it all the time. Why don't you just put a holding company as the owner of the LLC? Well, it depends on who you're talking to. If I understand that I want to create something that outlives me, and I want to create something that also stays away from my estate. So, because for those that are just tuning in, you may be new here, you may be seasoned, you may be on your trusteeship journey. Hey, you may be legally qualified as far as undergrad school. You may be an attorney sitting here tuning in, but hey, welcome, right? You may look at it as, okay, this structure and the trust combined can be complexity. I've heard it could be hard to understand. It could be difficult. We don't want to make mistakes. But the mistakes that I kept understanding people were doing was we keep putting ourselves in the power of control. We kept leaving ourselves as the owner or indirectly having control, which kept leading back to the estate. So if y'all really quickly, let me just drop this jewel right here. If you don't know what an estate is, it is everything, the total, a sum of property, assets, businesses. It could be intangible and intangible, gold bars, certificate, bonds, dividends, whatever it is listed in your name as owner, okay, and listed under your power of control personally. I got to be careful how I say certain things because y'all gonna miss it, right? I was now saying, well, let me play the background. Let me step so far away that you won't even understand my role. Just like when I walk into these businesses, even if I walk into the bank, because I'm going to get there, how we're going to protect the business bank account, even when it's trust owned. So when I walk into the bank, you're talking to a teller, you're talking to a branch manager, you're talking to someone that has say so. When they have say so, that don't mean that they have direct control. That do not mean that they have ownership. They're just the employee. They have say so based on their description of role. Maybe they were hired and they have a handbook that operate through policy. Ooh, I'm really helping y'all today, okay? That operates through policy. So when you, as that individual, that one person, let's say it's you, yourself, and I know I'm discussing about me and my family because I'm just sharing my journey with you guys. But when it comes to Layla Lockwood LLC, the trust is the owner. It is an asset protection trust. It is a trust that's going to protect the operations and the protection of the assets. Because see, even though you see Layla Lockwood LLC, that don't mean Layla Lockwood LLC has assets. Layla Lockwood LLC can just be completely asset free. It may have debt, but it don't have assets because the trust can hold the asset. We have it structured in a way, right, is that when we notify the IRS, yes, it was an individual, because I always do this. The person that's keying in the keyboard, the person that's signing on the paperwork, the person that's speaking on behalf of the business. You do have to solidify your role with the IRS. So even if you fill out an 8822B, you're going to change your role, a position of, yes, I did get the EIN. Yeah, put my information because this business did start from me creating it, but I'm going to now change the responsible party. I'm going to change who has the direct control. Let me know. Put 100. Put 100 in the chat because this is where y'all be messing up. This is where when y'all start going into the bank, you have not even crossed your T's and dotted your I's yet. You just structured the business. You know, making money. Yes, you could be lucrative. Some of y'all be making way more money than I make because I'm just an employee to the business. 8822B will change the ownership of the I'm talking about the one that has control of the LLC. We didn't even put the trust on there yet. We're just getting the EIN to the LLC. And you're like, oh, you got to put your social security number. Yes, you put your social security number, but you have to go back and you have to now notify the IRS. I'm going to now give up ownership. Now, for those that like to put the holding companies, for those that like parent companies, this is also the same form that you'll be able to put, as it could be another company owning another company having, you know, a different holding 90% of shares. This is where you can put another parent company. This is the same form. Once you do that, you've now notified the IRS. Now you want to make sure that you're structured properly on the state level because the IRS is the federal level. So you want to be federally regulated and you want to be federally protected. On the state level, you go to whatever state you're tuning in from. Some of y'all had put y'all states in the chat. So whatever state you're tuning in from. So now you go to your Secretary of State and you go ahead and you identify it's going to be recorded in the state. It's going to be trust owned. So that'll be the member. That'll be the owner, right? The member, whoever had that direct, capacity to operate. You may see who's the operator, who's the organizer. Put the trust there. Put the trust there. Okay. Now, when you're looking at this, now you have two forms of documentation. You have the structure of the LLC. Now you got this trust. These are two pieces of paper. I know I don't have, oh, here go a piece of paper. So you have paper, but you still have to be the spokesperson of this business. Paper is the structure, is going to say who is the owner, who is the controller. The paperwork is going to say that. Before you even go and open up a trust-owned business bank account, before you even start separating your entities, you got to know who you are. If your name is listed on here as a manager to the business, then that's who you are. You're just the manager. A lot of us don't get a chance to see this side because when we're working the job, we go to human resources. Now, if you really break down the concept of human resources, they use the humans, okay, which is you. They gave your information, and then they now apply an employee ID number. Some of y'all working a job like, dang, you're right. I clock in, and they're paying me under my employee ID number because I'm a position. I may be just someone that's on the floor. I may be a sales rep. I may be customer service. I may be the supervisor. I may be the manager, but they're going to identify your titles, and you're going to all have EINs. When y'all all have EINs, it was produced on paper by your social security number. But remember, they change your role and responsibility to the corporation. Let me know. Y'all picking up what I'm dropping. So now if you start walking and talking like a corporation and thinking like a business, then you won't say entrepreneur out your mouth, because entrepreneurship, that means the person who created the entity solely takes the risk. Solely. When I say sole show security, yes, you're the only one that structured the business. You have no separate entity to start removing your capacity to now minimizing your role to say, I'm just a manager. I'm just a 1099 contractor. I'm not even a W-2. Y'all keep setting up these ADT accounts. Y'all keep setting up these accounts, and you keep putting yourself as a W-2, and you're like, dang, I keep trying to cover payroll, and you're not even making no money. You're not even producing wealth. So it's all about your structure. Can I talk to y'all really quickly in here and think about, if you are a 1099 contractor, that means you're not on payroll per se, and you're not listed as a permanent employee, seasonal employee. You're not even an employee. You're your own business. You mind your business, and you only called to do the duties when you are allocated a task. That means if you are supposed to go ahead and put this money in the trust owned LLC bank account, that is not everyday duty. That's a independent role. So if you now structure this LLC, is trust owned, you understand that you can maneuver layers of how you want to produce, how you want to operate under the trust, if you're going to be a trustee on this business, or you just going to let the trust hold the asset, and then you just come back and be a 1099 contractor. That means a W-9 is issued, and then there's a 1099. It could be a miscellaneous. It could be 1099 miscellaneous, which is a 1099 form, MISC. I just want to know, so because it's recorded, I want y'all to timestamp this stuff, right? Or it could be under a 1099K. So, because a lot of people don't understand why I was able to get social media endorsements or stipends or remittance through the business and not me directly. Okay. I don't need to get paid directly from social media. I don't want to get paid directly from social media. God forbid something happens to me. We need that check to still flow. And I created something that outlives me. I don't need to own the business. No matter if you see my name, Layla Lockwood, LLC, I don't need to own it because I'm creating something that outlives me. I don't want to own bank accounts. I don't want to own it because I'm creating something that outlives me. Now, the structure of this business was, yes, created so it can be produced privately. If the business is making all the money, that's not me personally. So that avoids bank levies, that avoids personal liens, that avoids personal lawsuits, that avoids personal things that are coming to attack me because you know they don't like me. You know how they like to tussle. A lot of people don't like me even giving this information. A lot of y'all love the information but don't like the message. I get it. So you never know when there are people that prey on you, and I'm talking about PREY, and there's people that say, oh, she looked like she got money. See, some of y'all keep posting y'all money, y'all keep posting y'all revenue, y'all keep posting, and you are a lawsuit target because you never separated yourself. And when we talk about broke on paper, it's not just a saying. When we say own nothing, control everything, it's not just a saying. It's a structure. And it's not only that, it's a living system. Because just because there's an irrevocable trust and it protects all the assets, this business is structured, and you can say it's structured bulletproof and it's in an anonymity state, it's in Delaware, and as soon as you go in there saying you own something, as soon as you go in there signing something, that's an oral consent. Now you done jeopardize positions, you done jeopardize roles of activity. You're not signing in your capacity, stating that you're just a member and that you're operating on behalf. And there's an operating agreement that just sums all this beautifully. Y'all could just be talking. It could just be air. But if you don't back up your paperwork, they're going to pierce the corporate veil. They're going to say, yeah, this ain't your separate entity. No, you ain't private. This all you. So you need to make sure that you understand who you are. You make sure that when you walk out your home, because see, no one knows what goes on in your home. That's why you're the head of the household. You're the administrator of your household. When you do these things, you have full control. But do you want direct control, or do you want to allocate the task? Do you want to allocate the control? So when you have this structure here, now you're like, well, how do I go into the bank? How does this business get a loan? First, you need to ask yourself, do the business need a loan? Do the business operators, the ones that is now the managers, hey, you could be the secretary, you could just be answering these calls, joining these Zoom calls, these consultations, but you don't own nothing. And the only way you get paid is when you show up. Maybe you got to complete some paperwork. Maybe you got to sign something. And then they have to issue you a 1099 just for doing your task, right? So if anybody was to come to you, this is why a lot of corporations, they step down before it all falls down. That's how they're able to maneuver their position. Oh, let me step down. Keep the business rolling. Keep the business operating. Let me find myself, right? Let me change position. Let me be the janitor. Now I don't even want to be the manager. Excuse me. Let me go clean the bathroom. Okay. You can now minimize your activity. Matter of fact, how about this? You can end your contract. Going on and Indeed, hire somebody else to go on and be in there under consultation, but your business is not affected. Don't forget your corporation business insurance. If you have errors and omissions, you have umbrella insurance, you got general liability insurance on your LLC. Now we're talking. Now we're talking in reference to, okay, I am a business, but I don't have to own the business. I can walk and talk like a human, but you don't know how this is all operated. Can y'all just comment in the chat? Did I just break down that this is how a lot of major millionaire, billionaire, trillionaires got started? The foundation is everything. The understanding is critical, and the duties is vital. Any way you mess up is because you might commingle, you might not understand your role, you want to just be the owner, you want to keep saying own nothing, you want to keep saying you broke on paper, but as soon as you go in there, you like, oh, let me personal guarantee this loan, because you're now enticed by now, I'm vulnerable, so I need to get some money, I need to do this, I need to get some money, so let me go get a $50,000 loan. Some of y'all keep signing up with this stuff and you like, oh, what the paperwork on the grant said, you had to at least be 25% ownership, the beneficial ownership form. But what does your resolution structure of your corporation say? What does that say? And if it says that you are not the responsible party, then you don't go in there just giving up all your powerful structure. You giving them your power because now you just sold your soul. Show security. So when people are reaching out to me and saying that you've been served a summons and it's all these credit card companies and it's your Home Depot, some of y'all got 80 grand, $80,000, and you are defaulted in these business, now I'm gonna go like this, these business lines of credit, and the whole time your Social Security is on the application. So no, you and that business is gonna go to court. Now, what you can do is now you can say, I learned my lesson, because a lot of us don't learn. See, some of us going to look at this live, and some of us is going to be like, I still don't know what you're talking about. Or some people going to say, dang, that's how they got me. Some of y'all going to learn. Either you're going to position yourself, reposition yourself, because some of y'all don't know how to retitle your business. Yeah, you can retitle. If you say, dang, I think I'm a sole proprietor on my EIN, it's a sole member. Yeah, it say it on the paper. I'm looking at your paperwork right here. You say this is a nice LLC. Yeah, it look like it make a lot of money. You got the trucking company. Yeah, the trucking company make a lot of money. You booking loads. You got all this going on. And then right up underneath that LLC, it say sole member. See, I play on that word real heavy. Sole. Show security. Yeah. Y'all like when I do that. Yeah, I play on that word so y'all won't never forget. Because see, there's other corporations that says partnership. There's other corporations that has an EIN, same EIN letter and it just say member. See, if it has a multi-member structure, then they can't just say, well, who they don't know. The bank is left with saying, well, who's the owner? You don't need to go in it. Did you read the paperwork? Now you got all your, what do you need? You need an operating agreement? What do you need? You need to see that this business is lucrative, this business making some money. So if the business making money, that is the collateral. The structure is the collateral. See, you keep giving yourself first. You keep becoming the insurance to this structured business. You keep saying, okay, this money, if everybody on the internet is clearing 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month, 20,000 in a day, 500,000 in a year, why you keep borrowing and giving your soul? Show security. See, it's about you not properly structured on paper. Why haven't you built up credibility to now say you don't have to give your soul? Show security. See, I'm a 1099 contractor, so why would I be giving up my Social Security? I don't even work for the company. I'm just contracted. Do what you will when you will. If I'm down here to open up a business bank account, oh yeah, they just hired me to just be the spokesperson. This is how I be talking to the bank. See, I'm gonna confuse you because see, if I don't know who I am, you gonna confuse me. So yeah, I make you look crazy. But on paper, there's no way you can override that. On paper, oh, all you need to do is take it up to your higher. If you ain't used to this structure, is there anyone here that's knowledgeable in this department? Yeah, you got to go to the corporate department. This ain't even, you are not in the right place, because we don't deal with sole. See, this department here is only deal with sole proprietorships, entrepreneurships level. You want to take out the loan yourself for the business. We're gonna take your social security. You're gonna be bonded to the signature in your own capacity, because you never change your structure. So now they said, lady said, you kind of structured like Microsoft, ain't you? I never forget. I will never forget that. Some people say, well, why did you structure it this way? Yeah, because I start seeing y'all start taking the niggas' blood. You take everything. You take everything. You take the house, you seize everything, you freeze everything. No. I'm not going to wait till something happen to try to get my affairs on order. I'm going to learn and figure out a way. I see other people. I see other people getting sued. I see other people beating down the doors, trying to get restructured consultations, business classes, business courses, hiring attorney, hiring corporate attorneys, trying to come and duck and hide their tail. No, you want to be the owner when it's time to do ownership things. No, I don't want to be the owner. No. Can I leave a message? Can I leave a message? Write that down. Let me get that answer for you. Y'all stop going into these establishments and stop selling your soul, Social Security. Understand the different types of structure. A trust-owned LLC don't only just protect the business. It protects you. It protects you because you don't own nothing in a trust. You gave up ownership. If you have an irrevocable trust, you had already gave up ownership. So if you now put the business interest, the membership interest of who owns that business in the trust, no one can own a trust, especially the irrevocable. Now, when you have a revocable, you still connected. You're still tied to it. It's still connected to your estate. But irrevocable, you had already gave up ownership. Now with the business, you gave up ownership. You want to hire somebody? 1099 contractors. Lyft do it. They let you go and get in these cars, drive. I was talking to another client the other day. She do medical carrier. 1099. You don't directly work for these corporations. You are contracted to do work. Now, if you are an employee, I understand that's something totally different. Your contract was your application, which is when you did the interview process. Yeah, you gave them your natural name and stated that you're going to be an employee to the entity personally. And then they're going to go and apply for an EIN so they can protect through insurance. Yeah, you a liability at that company. That's why they got all that things to protect the structure of the company. Why you think when they go and employees be suing, they got to go through the employee, I forgot the EOC. I might be saying it wrong, but it's like the insurance, employee commissions. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I ain't been employed more. I ain't been employed in a while, so I'm just independent contractors now. I'm separating myself. I'm separating how I operate. I'm speaking in third party. I'm showing in real time on real paper why I am not going to own anything. I don't want to own anything. I want to make sure that this outlives me. If you enjoyed this live, right, drop a heart in the chat. If you enjoyed this information, drop a 100 in the chat. If you picking up what I'm dropping, drop a gem in the chat. And if you are not following me here on YouTube, go on and just hit that subscribe, hit the bell, because I'm going to be coming over here more often. I'm probably going to stay away from Instagram for a little bit, just for a little bit, because I got some more stuff. And I also will work on doing it as a demo. Demo is different. Me, I'm just giving y'all a brain dump because it's been a high volume of now helping me retitle the business. Got summons. I don't know what to do. They, serving me documentations. The business bank account is frozen. What do I do? Reposition yourself, retitle yourself. First of all, operate with integrity. Okay. If you don't understand what you're doing, step back. Don't just do it because you were, not to, I want to keep saying enticed, but you were vulnerable and you're like, I'm doing it because everybody else getting approved. And that season has passed. And then even the leaders, even the one that called themselves the leaders, the one that was teaching this information has now doubled down and not even showing you that, oh, I can show you how to get this business funding. I can show you how to get this information. I'm a show you how to get it. Then I'm going to get 10%, but then you stuck with the whole tax. If you got approved for 500,000 and you gave them 40 grand, but they coming to get the whole 500,000 from you because it's all in your name, you're the liability, you played yourself. Okay? If you're not issuing out 1099s, if you're not stating that I am doing this on behalf, I am operating on behalf. I don't own it. I'm a spokesperson. I am hired to represent. That's how you have to move. That's how you have to operate. And if you're new here and you're just learning this, follow us, visit us at www.laylalockwood.com. Y'all stay rooted. Peace.